we start.
Yo, welcome to the Unpopular Mangaka Podcast. I'm Meechgraphics, your host, and with me today I got my co-host Jonia,
What's up?
and we got our special guest for today, your favorite Unk.
Yes, sir.
I'll let him introduce himself.
Okay, my name is Skippy K. I'm the director of Show Me Magazine, and I also write, and I'm the artist for Bad Example.
Awesome. So,
Awesome.
first thing I wanted to go ahead and start off with,
Yeah.
where'd you get the nickname from?
Oh, Skippy K. Yeah, that's a good question actually. I was in high school, and it's a playoff of my real name because it's also a family tradition in my household that it's our generation and the generation before. It's a tradition where our names start with K. So I used Kippy, like based off of Chip, and combining it with my name as well. And I just used K as just like a signature to that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you mind, so in general, where are you from in general, or where you located?
Where I'm located now, or where I'm from, or where I consider home.
Where's your home?
Yeah, that's up in the northern part of Jamaica, St. Anne Parish. Yeah, born and raised, man. I moved here 3 years ago in UK.
Right
Like
on.
a real one.
Hmm?
Real one. No Jamaican.
I'm a real one, yeah. I'm the original. Yeah,
OG.
Ain't none of the extra stuff. Yeah, the original,
Yeah.
the OG.
Gotta be proud of your cultures.
Of
I know.
course, man. Of course. I try to instill it into like everything I do, and like I try to put that in the stories that I'm creating now. Can't really lose sight of your roots because that's really important to you.
As you should, bro. Everyone should, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't really understand how like important that is because I know some people will try to stay away from it because maybe they're trying to walk a new path or find their own identity, but like it really does add a lot, and it's kind of like a wake up to realize that not everything's about you. This is where you come from, and that's just the reality of it. So I think if you do that, I think you can even make better material.
Facts.
The material that you're creating, it's based off of all your life experiences, and part of that is where you come from.
Big facts.
Really agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can you speak a little patois?
Of course, what do you want me to say about it?
Hey, I don't speak it, so you tell me.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. Like I can say, "Medon yasso." It just means I'm here. But yeah, what's up?
Damn.
You want to say, Joe?
Say something to us in that language without translating, and let the audience translate it. See if they know.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know what he's saying.
After minute Bakali, if you do the thing here.
Yep, definitely don't know. Definitely don't know what he's saying.
It's not hard, but it's like if I wrote it down, you'd be able to associate the words better because like when you see it, it's written exactly how it's spoken, and it's written just like broken English. Yeah, so like you probably I was saying after I remember what I just did, but like I think it was after I didn't tell you that I was right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, so
Oh.
after, and then me not tell you, just be, I didn't tell you, and me equal, and I was here. Aya. Aya normally means here.
Next manga is gonna be in that language. Everything.
This manga, that was an original plan.
Was
because,
it? That's actually pretty sick.
So to doing this language.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could translate it, but one of the problems with Power is that you can't really. Not everyone has agreed on a official translation.
That's perfect.
So,
That's
like,
perfect. So nobody can say that you're wrong.
In a sense, yeah, in a sense, but like, I think it's mostly the writing because like not everybody will write it a word different. So, like spell it differently and stuff. I mean, if we're able to get it down in like a proper dictionary, then it was only recently that like Google started using translation features for Jamaican Power, and it's like due to pop culture and all the memes and stuff, to being able to push the language into into a state where it's being recognized more as a language instead of a dialect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
It hasn't reached there yet, though. Yeah.
here's another question. To get to know you a little better. How'd you first get into manga?
So that first get into manga, I think I got into manga kind of recent. I guess probably more recent than most. I think a lot of people have more manga knowledge than I do. That's due to in prep school. The first manga I ever picked up was Naruto, but we don't have any resources in Jamaica to really read manga physically, and I much preferred reading physically. So like prep school, I was able to borrow from my library one Naruto volume, and that was the first step into this whole new world. First time you pick up a manga, you're like, what's going on here, bro? I've been reading this film backwards. I was supposed to be reading from here, and it just feels different. The spine is over here, the cover is here. Yeah, it's just like a completely different feeling. And like even the black and white, I think the black and white added to that aesthetic where someone picks it up for the first time and they're like, hold on, so like this is a comic, but I can actually tell that someone drew these lines here,
Hold up.
It's like a. So I've never picked up comics like that. I read more manga than comics, like, especially now. But it's like, in that moment, I grew up knowing that there were things such as comic books, and then to see something like this, it was like it definitely felt like a completely new dimension because like everything was different. So it's like, I picked that up, and I've been reading. I read a bit in high school, and, of course I watched my anime and stuff, but I never. So when I moved here, that's when I really got the resources to read manga physically. So the first one that I picked up in the store was Dandadan. That's just because I thought the cover was cool. I was like, yeah. So it was Dandadan and Chosen X and what was it? Death Note. And those are the three that I have now. Those are the only three physicals that I have in my collection, but I think that's all the physicals I really need as of right now, So
It's cool for real.
like, yeah, bro. Yeah, man. But like, it's like those feel special to me, because like coming from a place where he didn't have it, to coming to a place where he can just walk into a store and just pick it up and just read it there for free and stuff,
Yeah, it's very, very interesting for real. Yeah, I want to ask you then about the first times then. What was the first story or maybe character you created ever? When was the first time you made a manga?
Okay, alright. So the first time I made a manga, I didn't know I was really making a manga. It was like, so it was like it read more like a movie storyboards. It didn't really have text. But, all right, so the books that I was into at the time were Diary for Wimpy Kid. So like those books are structured.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how my quote unquote manga was structured. Really have the speech bubbles. It was just written, then you see the illustrations. So I think his name was like, I think the main character's name was like John Carter. I think I still have the book at my grandma's house. Hey, John Carter, do you know the movie with the guy that goes to Mars or something like that? Is that him?
Is the same?
Or is that
The
the
same.
vampire?
No, I don't think I'm sure. The only name I remember is Roderick.
Roderick. Oh, no, that was the main character's name that I made based off of like my inspiration from there.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's so
John
cool.
Carter.
Huh.
So like there was John Carter, this girl with gloves. She was kind of like Sakura. There was the cool guy who was 4 arms. There was another one who I can't remember, but they were spies. And if I picked that up right now, I'd probably cry because of how horrible it looks. But to me, that was my first time like getting into it. And I remember like I was going through some hard times as a kid, and there was just this one summer. It was hot, and every single day I would just wake up, and that's what I would do for the whole day. I would just be drawing, and making that comic. Like that was the first drive that I had, and I'm kind of getting it now because that's what I did today. I drew like not to brag or anything. I drew probably like 3 pages inked already. You feel me? That's how I feel now. That's how I be feeling now, where like I'm getting some extra time to just get up and just draw for a long period of time and kind of like engross myself in the story. I'm starting to feel like that kid again.
I respect for you. I respect.
So what's your day-to-day life looking outside of drawing?
Day-to-day life looking outside of drawing would be college, but I'm almost done college now. But it was normally just that. So normally, my normal schedule would be, just go to college and come home, and sometimes I would stream in the night, and I would just sit down at my table and I would just get some pages done. And then on the weekends, I would normally work on filming.
Interesting. Then, okay. Now I want to ask you the creative side of that. How do you manage your time creatively? Like, do you script, thumbnail, wing it? How does it go?
For generating the story or like in general?
I guess in general.
In general, but on the story side, I would say that the greatest tool that I've learned recently is just like storyboarding, because like I didn't use the storyboard before, and like I thought I was doing well. The Kantan told me, shout out to Kantan. She was demonstrating, yeah, she was demonstrating like, you feel me, that my process was flawed. You feel me? And that's kind of like a wake up call, because when you're dealing with other people, especially if you're trying to work at a Japanese standard, but there's gonna be people that are gonna intercept the normal thoughts that you would not have on a daily basis, or the normal workflows that you would think that that's your comfort zone, and the editors, their job is to really intercept those comfort zones. That was one of the big things. For Show Me, I normally just take things step at a time, one step at a time, where it's kind of like a cake. So the whole cake would be something like Shonen Jump, but right now I think all I'm doing is just laying out the foundations. It's not really that stressing. Like, we're only at the plates right now. We're only at the crumbs. So if I look at it from that perspective, I just know that I have to keep on laying the foundations, get all the ingredients right that we need, where I can start, moving really heavily on getting this full cake baked. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, trying to move into stuff that influences you right now. What kind of music do you listen to while you draw?
What type of music?
Yeah.
Always video game OSTs, like Final Fantasy.
For real?
Yeah, just
The music?
video game OSTs. Yep.
Damn.
Non-stop on a 24-hour loop.
Damn, son.
Damn. Hey, nothing else? Is it mainly that?
Nothing else. Nothing else.
Damn. Okay.
That's a
Final
first.
Fantasy. It's either Final Fantasy, what's the other one? I think Chrono Trigger is what it's called. Or if I'm feeling a bit spicy, I might get some Persona OSTs up in there. That's very rare. Yeah.
Persona 5, there's one thing I like. Like the One Winged Angel theme song.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
That's always I memorized that job, man.
Sheesh.
When this certain genre, I guess, do they affect the vibe with your story? Yeah, or does listening to this type of music affect your creative process? Would you say?
I think it enhances it because one of the things this was making me also feel like a kid again is that sense of direction. When I was drawing before as a kid, like, I think this is one of the greatest hurdles that every artist has to go through. Is like, when people are saying that they're struggling with an art style, they're not necessarily struggling with an art style. They're struggling with a sense of direction. So like, if you can get that's also something I tie in heavily with Tell Me. You feel me? Because like, you're the director. You're directing everybody. So people should be able to see that you're going a particular motion that's favorable for the general demographic. So like, when you're creating art, man, like you're doing it favorable to yourself. You're the demographic. Like, if you can get a direction that you yourself internally can, agree with, it becomes much easier to keep drawing consistently. And one of the things that I realized with the music is that I grew up playing a lot of Final Fantasy games, and realized as well that a part of me really loves the dark grittiness and adventure aspect of it. And Final Fantasy, they always have that in their music. It's gritty, it's adventurous, but it's also traditional, and it keeps to the general, like, old-timey feel. And that's something that I have that I'm integrating with my in my story quite often, more than usual. So like, it pumps me. It feels like I'm, I can feel the direction. I can feel the direction of the music, and feel the direction of what I'm drawing, and that's an internal it's an internal motivation. I don't need anything externally to tell me that, hey, I need to get up and draw today. I already know what I'm gonna do. So, all I need to do is just get up and do it.
Dude, I feel that, for real.
Yes, sir, man.
Wait, is it specifically like orchestral music or just game soundtracks in general? Just kind of curious about that. Is the music you listen to?
It's normally orchestral in a sense, but what I really like with like Fantasy and Chrono Trigger is that they use like different sounds. So like, it's orchestral, but like, you'll hear a bit of some creaking frog stuff going on, some bells. You wake up and you hear bing, you hear that bell ringing, and you start feeling cathedral atmospheric.
Thanks, yeah. Music
Uh,
is storytelling. For
of
real.
course,
It's an
bro.
art.
Of course. Just another art form. Another art form, man.
All right. So what non-manga stuff inspires you? Like movies, games, book.
Non-manga stuff. Man. Non-manga.
Oh, movies, game,
Non-manga.
books, series.
Alright. I'm gonna be real. I don't play games.
Oh, you
So,
oh,
okay, I used to play a lot of Final Fantasy. Nowadays, the only time I'll play games is if I'm playing like Roblox with my sister. That's
So
the only
you're
Whoa,
not playing
Roblox.
games. You're just listening to the OSTs.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, it was a part of me. You feel me? That's what I'm saying. That was a part of me before, and it stayed with me even if I don't play the games.
That's true. That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
I've never played Persona in my life, but I know every single track.
Damn, that's
You
wild.
feel me?
That's respectful. Yeah. But you should join our Roblox games, bro.
So, I got you, man. I got you, bro. Yeah, man, just hit me up, bro. But yeah, I don't really be and that's just because like it's family and that it's just a platform where there's just a bunch of random things that I can just hop into at any time and just do whatever, you know. You feel me? So
Yeah.
I don't really play a lot of games. For books, like I mostly just read manga nowadays. And for movies, I don't even watch movies like that. Like I feel
That's
that most of
alright.
the time that I spend now is like, most of the time I'm gonna be spending like since I'm at the end stages of college, it's definitely just gonna be drawing, man. I won't be real.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. About I guess games, books in general. Do you ever translate that influence into your panel style or pacing?
Oh, uh, I think one of the greatest reasons why I'm so pumped to create what I'm creating now because I don't see what I'm creating. So a lot of the times when I'm getting inspired, I have to find that inspiration internally. That's probably why I listen to so much Final Fantasy music. You know, like that. It has to come deep within because like the story that I'm creating is something that I've never seen before. I'll find traces of it, obviously, but that's why I normally find other traces of it in other manga. Most recently, there's this manga called Centuria. I don't know if you heard of it, Centuria. It's on.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah,
Really
and
good.
I read the whole thing in one sitting, like the first 50 chapters. That's the whole that they had of me, you know, because like I could feel it. I was like, okay, yeah, this is the type of story that I want to create. This is the type of depth that I want to have in my artwork. It just had everything that I needed in it. So when it comes to like the panels and stuff, I realized that like even now I just stopped using references, visual references. Like if I need a reference, I'll just be like, if I can remember a particular time in my life, or you know, if I went out to work or something today, and I'm like, yo, bro, I'm feeling horrible, bro. Something bad happened. Let me just sit down so I can put this in the page. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that, bro, for real.
That's where I've been getting most of my feel. So it's like if I need to draw an emotional scene, I'll be like, hey, bro, today sucked. But instead of complaining about it, I'll be like, yeah, man, all right, I'm gonna start writing this out. She's gonna start crying, start bawling her eyes out, yeah, and just start. You gotta funnel it. You can't just let all the emotions spill out, or you're just gonna have like a mess. You kind of have to. Yeah. You gotta concentrate it, bro. So you know you don't get anything too crazy. You don't want anybody reading none too too
You're
much.
not too crazy.
You don't want too much. Yeah.
But not too much.
One of
We get a little too crazy now, huh?
Yeah, bro. That's what I be doing most of the time. But yeah, so more internal stuff. I mean, I feel like people should try it, because like it's kind of like you're working with limited senses. I feel like it lets you improve more.
So
Yo.
here's a follow up question. What tools do you use? Are you traditional? Are you digital? Do you explore different brushes? Like, what do you?
Oh, I think I'm pretty simple with what I use. And I'm gonna just use a regular A4 paper, a liner, and that's what I use traditional. And then I just get it put into digital with Ibis Paint. I love me Ibis Paint. Ibis Paint is the best thing ever, man. I love that jacket. Yeah. But most of the tools that I normally use, I don't really experiment with any crazy brushes or anything like that. I kind of like to keep my workflow simple. I don't want to get too confused with what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's fair. Now, want to ask about the process too. So when you're creating, do you focus more on layout, motion, or emotion when drawing a page? I think I know the answer, but I wanna know.
Okay, you already got the answer. So layout, emotion, or wait, layout, motion, or emotion?
Yeah. Which one you focus more?
Emotion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I try to put more emotion here. I think if you have the emotion, the layout is gonna come out more natural. Because if you have layout before emotion, things start to get more restricted. And I think anybody that's ever drawn a page will they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, hold on, I got this stuff on Twitter. Let me repost this. Alright, yeah. So anyone who's drawn a page, I think that they'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and I think that's part of that's the part of the reason why a lot of people will struggle with storyboards, because they'll get the storyboard and they'll draw it and ink it, but sometimes things just come out looking flat or feeling flat, So you never want the work to feel flat. There's always gonna be work that can look flat, but it's better for it to look flat than for it to feel flat. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, I feel like to put the emotion first, and then you were supposed to put it on on a tier list. It would be emotion, then probably layout, and then motion.
Oh, we got the tier list too, huh?
Of course, man.
With the extended package.
The Kippy pack.
Good, man. You need that, man. It's necessary.
So, for your whole process, do you have certain habits that you follow? How are you kind of going into this?
Okay, so I realized alright, so the more you draw and the more you just keep doing it, you kind of develop that internal workflow where you just start doing things naturally. When it comes to drawing on the paper, I know a lot of people will rule out the page first, to start ruling from your storyboard. You just start drawing the panels. What I'll normally do is I'll draw the characters first, and then just draw a simple line, sketch it freehand of where the panel layouts go. When it comes to very straight edges and stuff like that, you mostly want to do that in digital. you can just put the lines over when you're doing your panel layouts, and then just erase any extra stuff that go over the edge, because you don't want to draw it too close inside, because you realize that some of the details get lost. So it's better to draw over the edge and then remove it later. Like, that's one of the things I keep in mind, and I think a lot of animators do that as well, because like when they're given the animation sheet template, you don't want to restrict yourself. You know what I mean? And like a next thing, a lot of traditional artists do when they're transferring it to digital, they leave a lot of white spaces where there should be black, because you can always fill that in. That's just another another way to be efficient. So like if you look at a lot of traditional artists' work, like then you realize that where there's supposed to be a blank, flat black, they just leave an X, which is something that I started to do. Say you're drawing the texture for a school uniform, and for the areas where there's gonna be a gradient, where there is gonna be like a fade, you just use the hatching there. So like you hatch in between, and then the part which is gonna be completely black, you just leave an X right there. So then when you move on to the digital, you remember, oh, all right, so this is supposed to be completely black. I just don't want to use all my ink or like all my marker or whatever you're using, to fill out the space, and you just have to fill that in. You feel me? Like there's always gonna be like a couple things that you just pick up on that I probably wouldn't be able to say all of them, because
Nice, okay. Okay, man.
Yeah, most of the stuff that happen internally. Yeah.
Just like the main ones,
Yeah. So all right, that's like a main one, and
it's just like a habit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just pick up on that stuff, bro. You ain't even like thinking. You ain't even thinking. And like I realize how now I'm realizing how these, like when you go to like those artist alleys, and they start they're doing the signatures, but they have the characters on top.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting to that flow where I can draw that main character. I can probably like draw in one line. Like I just picked up on all the signals that, you feel me? Like I can simplify it down to a T, and that's because I've just been drawing her so much for the past couple of days. It's like a lot of these things people like pick up on. They're like, oh shoot, I need to get all the details right. You need to get these right first time. But once you start just actively doing it and stop thinking so gosh darn hard, the more you keep on doing it, the more easier it's gonna get.
Facts.
You don't need to overthink
100% agree.
Yeah, sometimes you don't just gotta think, you just gotta do.
Yeah.
Just gotta start. That's another thing with definitely with starting up. Anybody, if you're listening to this, anybody out there that wants to start a manga company, the best thing you can do is start. And you gotta start. If there's anything you want to do, bro, you want to make like a animation company, this, that thing you dream about doing, you gotta first take that first step. You can always do all that planning and all that stuff, but the reality is there are people who have planned to make a manga company, for example, and they haven't gotten it off the ground in like 7 years, because they just didn't take the first step, and then they get bored of it, they move on, get a job, get a family, and like all these responsibilities are in the way, or you can't do it now. You feel me?
Just do it.
Just do it, man. Nike slogan.
Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, like, looks like you've been through much. I want to ask more about if you had creative blocks or burnouts. How do you push them through your process, I guess?
Creative blocks and burnouts. My mentality towards it is to just you know, I guess I'm giving this advice because I'm a pretty head first person. So like whenever I get like a creative block, really just like push to the side. If that sounds kind of weird, you feel me? And just start moving, because like if I start moving, then the creative block is gonna vanish at some point. That's kind of how I see it. So like, you know, it's a waste of time for me to out in bed and be like, dang, you know, man, I ain't really feeling it today, man. This don't feel right. And instead of me just getting up, like doing something, you know, like even if I'm sick, even if like I don't have the energy to do it, at least I'm getting some work done, you know.
All right.
And that's always what I'll be striving to do, just like get as much work done as possible. Yep.
What's the toughest challenges that you face in the indie space?
Like real talk.
Toughest challenge.
Real talk here.
This challenge I'll face, definitely getting consumers involved, because like in the indie space especially, there aren't any great unblocked way to get to the consumer without taking a chunk load of money out of your pocket, you know, without doing promotions, running ads, paying reviewers to like get your stuff out there on YouTube and stuff like that. There's not any surefire way. So like the best thing you can do, like for me, the thing that's worked like, you know, a little bit more is doing the physical promotions. Because like when you have physical books, like it's much more easier to promote, you know, than if you have like a website, or if you have like posters or merchandise, like that's easier, that's much more tangible. Like you can if you have the social skills, you can easily just bring up a conversation about stuff like that. Like, and if you don't have the platform, and a lot of people just don't have the platform, it's really, you know, hard to get more views than when you're creating. And I think that's also another part that makes it so hard. There's not a I was thinking about it as well. I was thinking if there was ever gonna be like an app for like Western manga creators could like come together and just, you know, it would be a surefire way for people to get their stuff directly to a consumer, for people to the demographic they're looking for, people that like manga, people that already like the stuff that's coming from Japan, and people that like the type of work that you're creating. There's like, you know, that's definitely what's hindering the community, because like if there's no consumers, there's no money, you know.
Right. It must be tough, yeah.
No, you made it not too tough. You in the same boat, man.
Yeah, I know. So, I've been there.
Yeah, man. We all here, man. We all here.
Facts, man. The thing is that, yeah, this question might be obvious or not, but has this specifically, you know, affected the way you write or draw?
Not really. I think I've come to a point where I'm doing things just because I want to do them. So like that's what I'm saying. Like these are the internal motivations that I think people should start doing. It's like, yeah, man, we look too much for gratification, man.
Thanks.
Like we all right. I'm gonna start getting real with y'all. Y'all ready?
Ready.
All right.
Real talk here.
All right, real talk. We'll draw
Real talk
one
here
page
only.
per month and call it a day. Post it up on Twitter, get like 50 likes, call that junk a day, and not move any further with the story. You feel me? So it's like,
One day, yeah.
It's like,
Call it a
bro,
day.
you just a whole, not even a day, bro. You probably just wait until the next month, and you drop a next page, bro. You feel me? You don't touch it. You don't touch your story again. And it's like you people, a lot of people in the indie space, they need that. You feel me? They thrive off of that. They thrive off of, a lot of the compliments that we get, which is good.
X.
Good to always be complimented, but like it can't be the driving force to create your story. There has to be something else. There has to be something else that you can latch onto, so you can be like, hey man, listen, no matter what happens today, page is gonna be done. You feel me? These pages are gonna be done. And that's something that I just took, because I'm like, hey man, if nobody else gonna read this, I'm gonna read this.
Facts, bro. Facts.
I'm gonna keep this with me. I'm taking this to the grave, bro. If nobody wants to cherish it, I will cherish it, bro.
I'm saying, for real, facts.
Piggybacking off of that, we had a couple of artists in here before, and usually that tends to be the same kind of perspective that the people that I would say are a little bit more serious about their work, that's how they take it. It's at the end of the day, you gotta kind of be your biggest fan.
Of course, man. Of course, bro. Because there ain't gonna be anybody else that's gonna do it. We can't leave the expectations up to the people.
Yeah.
I think there's also a problem with like how things are consumed nowadays, because the people will take it and then they'll just throw it away. They don't really want much to do with it afterwards. Like someone will say, hey, one day, all right, today's Tuesday, bro. They'd be saying, hey man, I was watching Naruto today, bro. Naruto is my favorite anime of all time. Tomorrow they watch One Piece. Yo, One Piece is my favorite anime of all time. Ain't nothing touching this, bro. That's how consumers are. They're just blown by the wind. It probably just takes a cool fight scene for them to just be on another side, And that's exactly how people will treat your story. Like they'll say they're genuine fans, but read it for like, you feel me, probably like 5 chapters and be like, yo, this is the best thing I ever read. And then after those 5 chapters, they never touch it again. You feel me? That's just how people are sometimes. You feel me? And like you can't put people to shame for that, because we act like that as well.
Now we humans, bro, for real. That's just how it is, yeah.
That's just how it is.
It is what it is. You just have to act on it.
Mm-hmm. You just gotta understand that if anything happens, this still has to come out. And I feel like a part of what helps with that is if you have a deadline. I know everybody's afraid of the deadline. Like recently, I just switched to monthly, and like my experience with that has been like, yo, all right, I feel a bit tired, but I got a looming clock over my head that says that, hey, bro, there's a specific amount of work that you gotta get done before night falls. Because like, even like, you find the time. When you have the deadline, you find the time to do stuff. You'd be like, oh man, I don't got the time to do this. But you find the time if you have a deadline, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Of course, bro. Mm-hmm.
So,
Funny.
how do you handle slow growth or like hate comments?
Slow growth. I don't really care about platforms. I don't really care about the size of my platforms, to be honest. Like, the only platform that I really care about the size is Show Me. And that's just because I know that's the huge source of income if it's done right for me and my people, Like, that's something I don't really want to slip up. That's something I want, people to see, and, you feel me? Like, I don't want any hate comments for Show Me, you feel me? People can hate on me. You can say whatever they want about me. But I want good things to be said about Show Me. Because that's not just a representation of me, that's a representation of everybody that's putting their work out. I want it to look
I
good.
love that. Love that.
Yes, sir, bro. Yeah.
And I want to move on to the more of the personal struggles. Yeah, I want to know how do your personal struggles influence the stories you create?
Oh, that's a good question. As I said before, like I always take the emotions that I have to the page. So if I'm feeling an off day, I'll take it to the page. If I'm bad, I take it to the page. If I'm feeling happy, I take it to the page. And I think like it's very therapeutic down in the night and just draw. A lot of people don't really see that aspect. It's actually helping with your mental. So like that's also gonna be a motivation to get some stuff done, because like you know that it might be having a hard time, but at the end of the day you can always come back to your story. You can always come back to the page. So it's like even like I don't think I have a hard time like emotionally, unless I start getting sick, bro. I just be feeling horrible. But like emotionally,
Yeah, of course.
I'll be pretty all right. I'll be pretty straight, and I just want to take care of myself better. I want to work out better, exercise more, and take care of myself, because evidently if I take care of myself more, that means that what I'm producing is definitely going to be better.
All right. Here's probably, let's switch it up a little bit. If you had an unlimited budget, what would you do with your series?
Unlimited budget? I ain't even worrying about my series. I'm putting all that into Show Me. Start a whole animated series of one of the work on there. You're gonna start moving out with the shipping, start getting some new trucks, have like a whole headquarters to work with. You feel me? We would have everything. I'm investing that. I'll probably go off BXS Big Stamp on a break for like 2 months or something, just so I could put all that investment into Show Me. The con I see in the chat.
So if so you mentioned like anime or something like that, yeah. Which style or studio would you want one of them, or I guess your series?
Ooh, style or studio? What I want from my series? Okay, so my dream is for an example to be animated by a studio within the Show Me space. Right.
Respectable.
If I had to choose, I would probably choose Madhouse.
That's a good one.
Of course, man.
Madhouse is a
Madhouse. Man, that's probably because like I was also inspired by the Hunter x Hunter anime. I really like the anime as well.
So, what do you hope to like leave as an impact from your story, or actually from your story and then Show Me in general? Like, what's your impact? What are you trying to?
The impact. I wanna show that like it can. One of the big things I always wanted to show with Show Me is that it can be done. We don't need all these excuses. Like that. I also made probably a couple videos on my other channel where I was just showing, like I probably even live streamed some of the days where I was showing how I actually make the books, because I make the books by hand. I was showing like the grueling work that goes into actually producing something so small, to a lot of people. So it's like, I want to show that like, even though I'm in college, even though I'm a pretty young dude in comparison to a lot of the people that's in this industry, that something like this is definitely possible if you put in the work, if you have the right mindset, if you can just get it done. And that's also another thing that I want to inspire people with, when it comes to my story is that, like, you know, I'm just some dude, but like some dude can make certain caliber story. You know, like I'm right now I'm revising my first chapter because like I realized that I can do even better, and with the revisions that I have, it shows that I've improved. So I want to show that to show the speed at which someone can improve. Just continue to, you know, keep their head in the game, just lock in, and just keep on working, keep on that grind. And like I've had a lot of people that, you know, they said they're proud of me and stuff like that. I just really appreciate that, you know, because like they've seen the come up, you know, they've seen a person who came into the indie space that started doing this by reviewing other people's work, create, you know, something that, you know, people can come to and, you know, potentially be able to reach an even wider audience. It's like when you have something like this, it shows that, yo, maybe it really is possible, you know, because we don't have it. We don't have that version of Shonen Jump in the West, but shows potential, showing people that, you know, and maybe if we just, you know, continue to keep the work up, because it will happen if I don't stop, you know.
Like
That's
anything possible if you work it.
You just have to keep the work up, and that's what gets a lot of people like, they realize that there's so much going on in life. But my mentality is that, bro, if I even become homeless, I'm still gonna be making the pages. I'm still gonna have to do it because this is what I want to do, you know. It's like you have to get to that mentality where it's either you do this or you die. Do or die situation. But once you get into that mentality, bro, you are unstoppable. There's nothing to stop you. Just a force to reckon with. Nothing to lose, man. I want to just show that anybody can do it. You just gotta lock in. You just gotta keep up the work, and, you know, just don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just keep your eyes focused on the prize and the direction that I was talking about earlier. Just know what you're doing, know what you're about, know your direction, and just keep on moving.
I understand. And then moving on to that, related to that, I want to talk about if there are any themes that you still exploring through your stories, any themes you're interested in making.
I kind of want to show, you know, self-doubt, sacrifice, and principle. Like the story of Bad Example is very dark and gloomy, but I kind of want to uplift people, you know, with my story, because like we're going through very dark and gloomy times, you know. So I've always tried to take away from that reality and just be like, hey, you know, we're going through this now as a collective, as a society, but there's different ways that we can, you know, push forward. There's different ways that we can make amends. If it's even just, you know, a little something, there's still something to live for, you know. There's still a reason to push forward, and that's kind of what I want to reel in with a bit example. And that's part of the reasons why a lot of the characters look the way that they do, not just because they're bugs, but I want to show that, you know, they've gone through something, but they're not making what they've gone through stop them from becoming something new, you know.
You're beautiful.
So I know you just pretty much got started on your recent story, but besides that, do you have any other stories planned?
Nah. I wanna do good example for, like, until I become old and gray. I wanted to. I was also talking about this recently with a friend. I was saying, he was asking me how many pages do I really want to get up to with my story? And I was telling bro, he was like probably half of One Piece. And we calculated it, and he told me it was about like over 10,000 pages or something like that. So I wanted to be, I wanted to be like 500 chapters. So like, I want to just keep doing it. It's the only thing I want to focus on now. Like everywhere that I can make it better, I want to make it better. So I'm focusing on a monthly release. Like I'll just do that along with Shomi, along with any work and jobs that come, that bless me. You feel me? Any opportunities, and just do that until I'm old and gray, and then hopefully by that time, Shomi has gotten enough, stability where I can just take a rest for the rest of my life and just chill out. Maybe I'll do another story, but this is the only thing. I'm not really. It hasn't come across my mind because I just want to focus on this now. Yeah.
And okay, I guess I was gonna ask if you what inspired you to make those new stories, but I guess
there is no inspiration.
I guess we can ask. If you wanna get a spicy question right here. I ask a spicy question.
Spicy. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Alright. So, what is your favorite manga in your magazine right now?
My favorite manga in my magazine? My favorite manga? My favorite? Okay. My favorite. Okay, I can tell you the one that gave me the best first impression. I don't think I have a favorite. I want to see more of what everybody's doing. But which one gave me the best first impression was definitely
take a shot
there. Crimson Hair. It's like it was mostly the story and the way that the characters felt so grounded and realistic. The entire first chapter that's probably one of the only mediums where I've read where the characters feel so raw and pure. So it was like it really caught my attention, and like that was one of that's probably the only series, or one of the I also drew a fan art for Everlast. That's probably one of the only series that I drew a fan art for, and that was just to show my respect to its creation. But I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of series that come and show me that will be able to contest the impression that I had from that first chapter. So that's what I'm saying. I don't have any favorites as of now. But just
getting some new series soon, huh?
Yeah, hopefully. I have my eyes up. But like, yeah, so that's just one of the things that just stuck out to me. That I just couldn't, when someone just sticks out to you to that point, you never read something like that. It's kind of hard to look away from. You just appreciate it.
So
wait, what's the first manga right there in the magazine?
What was the first manga published?
Yeah.
Blood White.
Oh, classic one.
Yeah, Blood White. So it was originally me, Tsukio, and Domino. I think it was Blood White that was published first. Yeah, Blood White was one that got like the first promotional stuff.
Shit. What about the last one? Most recent one.
Most recent is Mother Rabbit, and it's in the process of being published. Yeah, it's not even completely published on the website. It's still being processed, but that was the most recent.
Hey, shut up.
Yeah.
So, what do you look for in a manga when you're trying to publish it and show me?
Look for it in the manga when I publish it for show. Alright, so the first thing I want to look for is definitely what I'm getting from the chapter first. Like, as I said, like the first impressions for Crimson Ears, what stuck out to me, and like what really sets it apart. Because there's gonna be, I've read many indie works, you know, and I don't. We're also trying to look towards the Japanese standard, but I don't want to just hinder on, okay, it gotta look like it came from Japan. So, all right, that's gonna mean it's gonna be a great series, you know. There's gonna be all types of cool looking art styles, and like there's people that are coming from different backgrounds. So once you're coming from a different background, you're gonna draw a certain way, you know. But it's definitely that first impression, you know. Like what is this artist trying to achieve? It's a piece of work. What is the statement that this artist is trying to make? You know? And like from there you can start looking into, okay, what does this artist understand the demographic that they're going for? Does this artist understand the types of people that'll be reading their work? And okay, then you can go from there. It's like that cake, you know. You just keep on taking it step by step and just piecing it together. So then from there you can go and say, all right, who are the type of people that would read a manga like this? Because with Show Me, it's not just shonen. It's all types of different stuff. But like, it still needs to be marketable. It still needs to be something that's familiar enough where I can pinpoint and say, okay, all right, this has something similar to this as a series, and I know this similar series is quite popular with this set of people. So if I put this on a website and I market it to this set of people, they will be the people that are most likely to read this manga. But then, you know, that's like a part of it, and then another part I like to look at is like the soul of his creation. Like what led the person creating this piece of work. Yeah, and how do they treat this piece of work? You know, how do they see it going any further? You know, do they really love this character and such and so forth? You know what I mean? Like you can actually feel the soul of a material. Like you can tell a lot about a person from what they create. You know, and like a lot of people don't like to admit that, but the truth is you're putting yourself on the page. Like if you have a keen enough eye, you can pick up anything. You can pick up insecurities. You can pick up backgrounds. You can pick up, like, you know, where they grew up and stuff like that. The type of mindset. Yeah, you know, you can pick up a lot just from reading another person's work. Because when someone starts inking a page, they're not just inking the page. They're communicating. Art is a form of communication. So like you are writing something, you putting it out, you're communicating with a set of people. And like, so I have to review it as like, when I go to review stuff, I have to review it as a consumer. What does this say to me? You know, like, what does this mean to me? And then you can have the obvious stuff like, like how it looks, in the sense like how, you know, how are these people able to construct their pages? Does this look up to a manga standard of construction, of formatting, of like lettering? Because like we're gonna have people that are doing this all by themselves. So you want it to look up to par with like what Japan is doing. Japan sees as high quality, because the reality of it is that we're trying to steal a lot of the people that are interested in Japanese manga. You know, that's what we're competing with. So you need to be able to compete with that standard. You know. instead of just face it and stuff like that. So yeah, those are like the three things I really just look at: the soul, a Japanese standard, and most importantly, the author is trying to communicate. So if you get those three things, man, I think be good. It's pretty simple, and I think it eliminates a lot of the anything you wouldn't want bad in a manga per se.
Nice. Very nice. Nice.
Yes,
Wait,
sir.
before I ask a question, I'm gonna want a real quick shout out to people right here, 8 people watching. Now, Conqueta Spinelli, Arcan Knight, NG Khan, Ilikuda. Shout out to everyone who's joining right here.
Yeah, shout out to
Now we got another. Yeah, what did you say?
I said shout out to everybody in the chat that's been here so long.
Give it a like. We got the OG here. We got the G.
No, man, I gotta be in the game longer than that, man. I can still be on though.
Have to be on.
That's right.
Anyway, so
I'm
gonna ask
are you
another
the
one.
OG Jamaican? Oh yeah,
Huh?
yeah. What you mean by that? The OG Jamaican?
Oh, like an OG in general.
Oh, the OG.
No, like a G, you know, like
Oh, okay, I get
like
you.
a great guy.
Alright, I get you.
My bad, it came off a bad way.
No, I was just messing with you, bro.
Alright. Alright, so we're getting off again with the spicy one like before, but this time you gotta answer. Good answer, one.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so I assume, of course, you have to know a lot about your stories, right? And everything about all of it. I want to know who is your favorite character in all of Show Me. You have to say one.
My favorite character in all of Show Me?
You have to say one now.
Favorite character.
Okay.
You have to say
Okay,
one.
I got you. That sample from Bad Example. That sample from Bad Example. I got you.
No.
That's a good answer, right?
You gotta do another one. I don't
I
care.
gotta do another one.
I just saw it.
Okay. My favorite character? Hey. My favorite?
Sure. I'm gonna put a
favorite.
clock. Put a clock.
So I gotta give a definite answer.
Yes, sir. Man, time is ticking.
A definite.
I don't worry about it. Just say one you really
I'm
like.
Exactly. Like I'm thinking a couple. I have a couple in my mind.
Or maybe the top 3 maybe.
There you go, top 3.
Top 3. Okay, so Slash definitely was one because Slash is definitely my OG. But I like the girls from Combini. And I haven't finished reading Mother Rabbit yet. Shoot, man. So I can't pick mine?
No?
Come on, bro.
No.
Alright. Slash, Alex, and sorry for 3, man. Man, why y'all gotta do this to me, man?
Out of the game.
Oh, bro. Alright, can I pick top 2 Slash and Felix? That's a safe answer.
Alright.
Safe answer. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I really like those two.
Alright. Yeah, I like those two.
So guys, we already got a top 2. Now it's definitely, now we're gonna put it all over the news, the Show Me news.
Those are probably the darkest characters in the series as well, to be honest.
Post it all over Twitter now. I'm gonna be against you now, like, oh, not my character, man.
Man. But I feel like everybody who's asked a similar question, I think I've answered that. Yeah.
It's cool. That's a cool character.
You can't go wrong with, you can't go wrong with any of them.
Pardon?
I said you can't really go wrong with any of them.
Yeah, same. I know. No, I just like the antagonist kind of.
So here's a question kind of following up on that.
Yeah.
Assuming that you read everybody's work, right? Which world would be the world that you would least want to be in?
Which world I would least want to be in?
Yeah.
Firecatcher. Firecatcher's world would be the least one I would want to live in.
The reasoning.
That's due to recent events in the story. I don't think the main characters are meant to protect me.
You gotta read it.
Civilian? Just from it hasn't reached that point in the story yet. I think as a civilian, I would be probably really scared. Yeah.
Nah, it definitely sounds reasonable.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, man. I have Arkin has given me a couple hints as to what might go down in the story, and from that, as a civilian, I don't know if I would want to live in there.
You're like, all right, I'm gonna just head out. I ain't trying to be there.
Yeah, I ain't trying to live in there, man.
So,
I was good.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say a question, but I don't think it will be good. Like,
No.
okay, I was gonna ask about favorites, and then I was gonna ask least favorite, but I'm not sure if it will be that obvious.
Oh, favorites? What favorites?
Least, not for the characters.
Least favorite.
Yeah,
Oh, for the characters?
Yeah, in general. I'm not sure if
least favorite?
you would like to answer that.
No. I could probably his favorite character. But like it doesn't have to be alright, so let me think. Least favorite character. Least favorite. Least favorite character. That's a good question actually. Least favorite. I would think the guy with the dimension powers in Everlast. I don't really like him. I don't know what he's about, but he just seems weird.
I don't know what it's about. Yeah, he's a little weird.
He's just a little weird, man. Anyways,
That's not.
one of my least favorite. Like from the point that it took me that long to answer, I don't necessarily have I don't hate anybody in any of the stories, which is good. I just don't know why he's just a little weird.
So none of the villains or anything? Nobody made you like, dang, I really dislike that character.
No. I don't think I have any dislike characters in general. I don't think I have anyone to carry that much hate. Like it takes too much energy.
Oh no, man, there are definitely characters I dislike. But that just shows that writing's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Like you can get someone to dislike a character, that means the brand is definitely up there.
Like Caillou.
Caillou, who's Caillou?
I hate Caillou, bro.
Caillou? The ball kid.
You know what you think about Caillou, man?
Bro, Caillou, man, that's annoying, man.
Man.
He's always doing some devious shit and then blaming his little sister. And his little sister's like a baby.
I don't remember the show that well.
Well, that's why you don't hate him that much.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, man, what?
Nah, but... Alright, so... We've pretty much gone through all the questions. Where can people read your work? For people that don't know.
You wanna
Yeah, showmemagazine.com. That's the only place you can read my work.
You got that.
Magazine. Yeah, or
You
buy
wanna?
the issues.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Buy the issues, the physical issues. You can read them in the
Oh.
physical issues.
Where is it? Where is it?
Showmemagazine.com.
I mean the physical. I'm gonna pull over.
Oh, yeah. No, you can order it, man. We need to get some physical areas where we can start.
I'm going there.
You can order it.
I'm going there.
I got you, man. I got you. One day.
Going
By
to the
the end of the year. I'm working towards it.
coming in the show me private jet.
I am, man, bro. That's that sweet American life, bro. We don't got that yet. You up in the mud. In the mud right now, man.
Since we kind of already kind of ending the live stream, do you wanna like plug anything, social links or any friends you really love, family, all that kind of thing, that you're really thankful for?
Thank you to everybody at Showme. Y'all was driving force, you feel me? Everybody up in the magazine. Thank you for everybody's support. Thank you guys for having me on your podcast. And the best plug is showmemagazine.com. You read everything there.
That it?
You can buy
None more.
Nothing more, man.
Alright, then I'm gonna say the last ending line over here. Are you ready? I think you might know or not. If there's any advice for creators starting out, trying to start from nothing, what would it be? Only one advice to give to the
Don't
world.
give up.
Simple.
Don't give up. Just keep going, man. That's it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Can we give a round of applause over here?
Thank you.
Hey,
Anyway. That's all. Lego clubs.
The Lego class. Nah, but hey, once again, thank you. Bro has a beef with the K-Show character. Of course. Caillou is devious, man. But nah, once again, thank you for joining us. It was really cool to go ahead and find out the inner mechanisms of Chippy K's mind when he's creating it.
Exactly.
And real good
get to know more deep about the character.
Thank you.
So that was another episode of Unpopular Mangaka. Appreciate everybody that stopped in. We'll see you guys again next week. And peace out for now.
Appreciate it. Also,
Alright, we're done.